What's going on, YouTubers and Instagrammy and friends across the globe? If you're tuning in, this is Talented Tuesdays, airing every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on your Instagram live station. My name is QuiySpeaks, aka Mr. 215 to 305, aka One Chain, aka Mr. Cheney,
aka the Urban Larry King. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think they know who Larry King is, man. So thanks y'all for tuning in to Talented Tuesdays. Like I said again, we got my man TJ over here. But before I introduce my guest, I want to go into some ground rules just like I always do. Keep the comment section crystal clear, negativity free. We want to be positive, send positive vibes out there. Keep the comments positive. Ask good questions, good opinions, anything that you can just send our way so you can show our guest TJ some love. It's greatly appreciated. But without further ado, I'm gonna introduce my brother from another mother, TJ, who's going to just tell us a little bit about himself, a little bit about where he came from and how he got to where he is right now.
So,
floor is yours, man.
You know what I'm saying, man? How is the world doing out there?
Looks like they're doing
well. Right here?
Yeah, you can look right there, right here.
Okay.
You got two cameras up.
All right. So where you want me to start from?
So just start from so start from where you came from, how you got to Miami, and what you're currently doing.
Okay. So I'll start from the very beginning, man. I was born in Jersey, Patterson, New Jersey. I stayed there, for a very short time. Then I moved to Florida. I grew up in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. I went to school I went to college in Tampa, University of South Florida, and I went to a Caribbean medical school in Belize.
Belize?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you about that experience a little bit later.
Okay. And then I just graduated last year, and so now I'm preparing for my last board exam before I apply for the residency match. Mm-hmm. So right now I work as a physician consultant, and I'm thinking about I'm in the process of transitioning into pharmacogenomics. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so.
Say that again. Pharmaceutical? Or
pharmacogenomics.
Pharmacogenomics. You look like you came dressed for the occasion too, because I see some of you saying. Check out the deets. You guys see the deets on my man's shirt. He came dressed for the occasion.
You feel me, man?
Yeah. So okay. So tell us a little bit more about the. Okay, you guys say it again. Pharmacogenomics. Pharmacogenomics.
Yeah.
Tell
you about that?
Yeah. Tell us a little bit. All right.
So I'm gonna tell you about that. So basically, what I'm passionate about is really preventative medicine, right? Mm-hmm. So like preventative medicine is a lot of things involved in that. It could be nutrition, it could be exercise, mm-hmm. It could be mental well-being,
right?
Preventative medicine is a lot of things, and one of the parts of preventative medicine, a small piece of it is genetics, right? Pharmacogenomics, to be more specific. And what basically that is what we do is we do genetic testing, right? Mm-hmm. And we look at your genes, and from your genes we find out what drugs, what pharmaceutical medications, or what psychotropics or any type of medication really your body will become more responsive to in a positive way. Right. So that way we can personalize the approach to treatment. So we avoid negative side effects. We're gonna avoid, adverse reactions, mm-hmm. all those things. So that's a part of prevention. So that's a piece of preventative medicine. So that's what pharmacogenomics is. Really, it's a new thing, but it's coming up. It's pretty good.
Okay. So
because side effects is terrible, man.
Just
period.
Side effects of
like drugs, medication.
Oh, like the regular drug side effects.
It's one of the reasons why people don't really take medicines.
That's the reason why I don't like to take medicines. I mean, you look up for like a drug for like gassy people, and then like one of the side effects of that drug may be gas with an oily discharge. I'm like, yo, I actually seen this on a commercial, and I'm like, if I'm trying to cure gas, why is one of the side effects more gas, but with a oily discharge? That's worse than the gas that I already had.
I feel you, man. I feel you on that, man. So that's real. That's real.
That is real. So we got some questions for you, TJ, and of course, just like every week, we have our audience who constantly has some questions for you as well. So they're going to ask as I'm asking questions. So y'all feel free to ask some questions to TJ, whatever comes to your mind. Just make sure you keep them positive. And, you know, it doesn't have to always be a question. It could be a comment, like you really like what he had to say about a certain idea or a certain topic. Just share your comments and everything like that. So we're going to keep moving. So the first question is, can you tell us a little bit about your undergrad experience? And what was it like? And how did it influence your development now?
All right, so going to college, okay. I'm gonna first start off by saying that, you know, really, I was the first in my family to go to like a traditional 4-year university, right?
Okay.
So, you know, when I graduated high school, I really didn't really know if I was really gonna go to college like that, because you know, everybody else I grew up with, you know, on the block or whatever, like none of them went to college.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I was the only one who went to college, really. And really the only reason I went to college is because, you know, I did well in high school because of my mom, really. My mom was one of those moms who always used to say, just make sure you pass your exams. Anything I asked her, she'd be like, yo, just make sure you pass your exam. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mom, I'm about to go play ball. Just make sure you pass your exam.
Make sure you pass them exams.
You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go to McDonald's.
Make sure you pass them exams.
Just make sure you pass your exam.
Right.
Which was important because, you know, I actually did have to pass my exams, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, when it was time to go to college, I graduated high school and my, I didn't know, I procrastinated that whole summer, really. And my dad packed up my stuff and just put them in the van. And he literally drove me to Tampa in a hurricane. Dropped me off at the school. And then drove off and was like, good luck. I was just like, thanks, Dad. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
You know, I wasn't even registered yet, bro. The only reason why they accepted me is because I drove through a hurricane. It was like that's determination right there.
Yo, is this for real?
I'm dead serious, bro.
Wow.
But I had good grades. You know what I'm saying? I had good SAT scores and everything. So, you know, I got that was my first experience of college, and I was terrified, bro. I was terrified, man, because I was scared of failure, you know, and I was filled with a lot of doubt. You know, like, well, you know, what if I'm not good enough? You know, what if I fail? And really, doubt is dangerous because doubt can assassinate your dreams, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And that goes back to one of the videos I was talking about things that you put into the universe. If you put doubt into the universe, you can't truly succeed. Exactly.
So, you know, one of the things I learned was that, you know, when you're comfortable, that's really when doubt thrives. When you're in a comfortable place, and the only way to overcome that is to be uncomfortable. That's the only way you grow. Right. And I had to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So I went to college, and my experience in college was very interesting, man. Like the dorm. I'm going to show you how I got into, or how I found out, you know, my purpose and why I wanted to go into medicine. Because really, man, like I was just in college to be in college. I didn't really know what was going on. You feel me? So, when I was in college, I was in the dorm, and the dorm that I was in was a very unique dorm, man. It had a lot of students. Had a few exchange students and a lot of students from different countries. So it was like the mini United Nations. Right. You know what I'm saying? We had a kid from Wales, from China, from Africa, like from Germany. It was all over. You know what I'm saying? So during my time in college, I actually became a professional token black friend. You feel me? Like I had a lot of friends from different cultures and different backgrounds, and for a lot of them, I was their only black friend. I was cool with that, you know what I'm saying? Because really, I didn't mind, you know what I'm saying? It was an experience for me. And what I learned, man, was I had a skill that was very unique. And not a lot of people have this skill. You know, it's almost like you gotta be an X-Men kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? Like a special gene. And it was the skill that I was able to relate to people from different cultures, different backgrounds, and relate to them easily. You know what I'm saying? And so I knew from that point that I wanted to do something where I could work with a lot of different people. You know what I'm saying? At first I was thinking about doing something that involved like national interactions, but I knew that I wanted to work with people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know I wanted to go into medicine at that time, but I knew that's what I wanted.
You knew you wanted to work with people, whether it be medicine, whether it be humanitarians.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to work with people, and it had to be a people of a diversity, man. Like, had to be diverse, man. So.
Okay. So speaking of the medicine, we gonna stay with the medicine for a little bit. So we got a great question that I saw from Miss AKA 85. She said, "How do you feel about vaccinations as preventative measures? Now, are you for or are you against vaccinations?"
I'm definitely for vaccinations. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's a lot of debate about it. You know what I'm saying about vaccinations.
Right.
But, when you look at it, when we're looking at empirical data and statistics, and you're looking at the history of medicine, vaccinations have saved a lot of lives. You know what I'm saying? Now, there can be an argument that vaccinations also cause like Lyme disease and other sorts of things. And there's some studies out there that may or may not prove it.
Right.
But what I do know is that the vaccinations is very important. In preventive medicine. I mean, when you look at the studies, it's saved a lot of lives, man. Like. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm definitely for vaccinations.
And I'm definitely guilty as one of those people who definitely are very wary of vaccinations as to what they do to our bodies, and you got the stories of people who get sicker when they get vaccinations,
which is true.
Exactly, and
which is true.
And it even happened to me. I've experienced it.
Yeah, for some people you could get more sick. For certain vaccinations,
right.
but I don't think that's the majority.
But I think what you talked about in the beginning, the pharmacogenomics, that would play a key part in taking the genetics of a person and seeing what vaccinations or what pharmaceuticals would best work for their body and their genetic makeup. Well,
I think I definitely think like for really pharmacogenomics is more specifically for like prescribed medications.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily for vaccinations and things. I think they've done that in the past, and they might be still doing it because of the whole debate that's been going on. But really, where the debate is now not necessarily going towards is vaccinations good or is vaccinations bad. The debate right now is should vaccinations be mandatory. That's what the debate really is right now.
Okay, and also
because most key opinion leaders and most people in the health industry, leaders in the health industry agree, on both sides of the argument agree that there's a need for vaccinations. But the issue that they're having now is should it be mandatory?
Should it be mandatory?
Yeah, right. And that can be
that goes. That's a very gray area to force somebody to do something like that.
It's a gray area. It's very gray.
Yeah.
But there's an interesting argument that I heard somebody use once. When you have there's some children who are immunodeficient, right? They're very immunodeficient, and a lot of them are unable to take vaccinations, right? Because their immune system is not strong enough,
right?
So they're more susceptible. They're more susceptible to certain diseases, right? So the argument that a lot of people have is that should those children be exposed to other children whose parents refuse to have them vaccinated? So now because they have an increased risk. You know what I'm saying? So that's a debate that I haven't done enough reading on it to really talk much about it. That's not really
so like
where I'm passionate about.
You also mentioned about earlier when we were talking, mentioned about your public speaking and things like that. Did you know that you want to be a public speaker also when you found out about? working with people and stuff like that?
Yeah, really, with my public speaking thing came through. It's all tied in because one of the things that like when I talk about preventative medicine is there's a big scope. It's very big because one of the issues is there's a lot of health disparities in underserved communities, and we're talking about low income communities with minorities. The health disparities is despicable, bro. Like, it's terrible. And one of the reasons why I believe, and according to the Affordable Care Act, one of the reasons is because there's not enough diversity in medicine.
Right. So
you're gonna ask me, why do I say that? The reason I'm saying that is because there's already a major there's already a major problem with the number of physicians we have. Okay, there's a shortage. They say that by the year 2025 there'll be a 90,000 physician shortage, right? And the majority of those physicians
went by the year what?
2025.
Wow.
There'll be a 90,000. Okay, that's a lot, bro.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot, and most of it is in is primary care. And really, if anybody knows, primary care, that's really where the front line of preventative medicine is, right? And then on top of that, the primary care shortage is more in underserved communities. People don't want to work in those communities, right? So when you look at it, on top of that, it gets deeper. There's not enough Black and Latino physicians.
Right.
And those are the ones who are more likely to work in those communities. So what we have now is that these communities are suffering. I mean, everyone's suffering, but they get the worst dealt cards, man. You know what I'm saying? Because of all these factors. So where my public speaking came into place is I felt that there was a need, to speak to young brothers, man, and young kids about my journey. You know what I'm saying? Because when I grew up, I didn't see any physicians that look like me, talk like me. You know what I'm saying? Like when I see you, I don't necessarily walk up to you and be like, "How you doing, Q?" No, I'll be like, "Yo, what's happening?" You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So I never seen that growing up. I never had that transparency where I say, "Okay, no, I could do that, man." You know what I'm saying? He looked like me, he talked like me. I never had that.
So you want to provide that transparency to the youth.
That's where my public speaking came in place, because what it does is, especially on the high school level, because when it can inspire them, right? What you're doing now is you're planting a seed for them, and maybe that can create more physicians in the future, right? And the studies show that people who grew up in certain neighborhoods, grew up in certain communities, they're more likely to give back. And which is what I'm trying to do. So, yeah.
Hey, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in right now. TJ he's spitting fire right now, talking about health disparities in the Black and Latino communities, and the need for doctors that look and relate to us. And he hitting all the good points.
A lot of people don't know, man. A lot of people don't know that President Obama, man, under the Affordable Care Act, he tried to address that in a very incognito way.
Right.
He tried to address that. What he did was, a lot of people don't know, man, but President Obama, he put aside a certain amount of money to create teaching programs, residency programs in urban communities. Right? So his idea was, if I can get doctors to train in these communities, maybe I can increase the retention rate. Maybe they'll stay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A lot of people don't know about that.
Do you think he was okay? Well,
was he successful?
Right. Yeah, I'm saying. Do you think he was successful?
He was, because that's the program that more than likely will be at. It's a program just like that.
Even with the 90,000 dropping rate of physicians in those areas.
The thing about it is, a lot of doctors just don't want to do primary. They don't want to be primary care physicians, man, because they feel like the compensation is not there. They want to be specialists.
Yeah.
And I mean,
especially when you're relying on people who get insurance.
Exactly. Especially
they pay the least. I found out.
Especially Medicaid. Yeah. So a lot of them just want to do specialties. And really, when you look at it, I mean, when's the last time you've seen an American primary care physician? Man? Like, I don't remember the last time. Last time I seen was on a TV commercial, and they have these nice big offices. You know what I'm saying? My doctor office smelled like curry. You feel me? Like, and that's not even a racist joke.
Right.
I'm being real with you. You feel me?
Being real.
Yeah, man. So it's like, I mean, they don't want to do it. So even though there's a shortage, because they don't want to go into that field, is even more of a shortage. So what Obama did was he created programs for that. You know what I'm saying? He opened doors for that. You know what I'm saying? So
that's interesting.
It did help out a little bit, but you know,
so
Trump came in and cut the funds for it. So
I ain't surprised. But you know, so speaking of the curry, for some reason it kind of it made me get back to this question that another question, Miss AKA 85, and she asked, so what are your feelings about the utilizing supplements in place of the prescription drugs?
I'm glad she asked that question because you know that's one of the things I'm super passionate about, bro. Like natural medicine.
Okay.
Like I'm a proponent for natural medicine, yo. Like, you know, like, you know, and it's funny because, you know, amongst my colleagues, you know, there's like beef between Western medicine and like Eastern medicine, like, you know,
so Eastern would be the more natural side, and Western medicine, of course.
You know, and you know, it's like games, man. They be like, yo, I'm going to the West, you feel me? You know? But like with me, bro, I feel like I mean, for me personally, you know, and you know, I don't know if I should say this on air, but I feel like hands down, the best medicine is Eastern medicine. Prevention. You know what I'm saying? If you eat right? If you exercise, you don't got to see you don't have to see the doctor.
Right. You wouldn't have to worry about half the stuff.
What happens is that we want to eat what we want to eat, we want to do what we want to do, and then we end up at the doctor when something breaks. You feel me? But that's why we have primary care physicians. You feel me? So you can do what you want to do, Q, but when you come to me, I'm gonna let you know, bro, listen, do these natural stuff. I'm gonna hold off on the medication. I want you to do these natural stuff, you know what I'm saying? Exercise, you know what I'm saying? And then we'll check your blood again and see what it look like. You feel me?
That makes sense.
I'm glad that was a good question. I'm glad she asked that.
Okay. And okay, so this was a question from my little page. She asked, it's related to the vaccination. So she asked, do you think that the skepticism of vaccinations and other prescribed medicine for Black people is one of the reasons for the shortage of Black and minority doctors?
Okay, so do I think that the skepticism
is a reason why minorities don't want to go into medicine? Yeah.
Well, you know, I can't really speak for them. You know, maybe not.
Right.
But what I do know though is you know, I did a presentation on this during medical school, you know, for one of my pharmacology classes. It was a research done on a long-acting beta agonist, and it's for people with asthma, right?
Okay.
And what they found, that given by itself, they found that for some reason African Americans were dying from it.
Really?
Yeah.
From asthma or from the preventative medicine?
It's from a medication.
Oh.
It's a long-acting beta agonist.
Okay.
Right? So when it's given by itself, they found that a lot of Black people were dying from it.
Okay.
Right. People don't know these things, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I didn't.
You know, I learned so much in medicine, man, about you know, like it's crazy, man. Like when I talk about disparities and I talk about inequalities, you know, it was Dr. Martin Luther King who said, out of all of the inequalities, the injustices in health is the most inhumane. That was Martin Luther King said that, man. You know what I'm saying? And It's true, dog. It's true. You know what I mean?
So we gotta I want my little page to elaborate on this next question she asked, because she said, well, it's not really a question, but more so a comment that she wants some better understanding of. So she said she's curious to know the statistics of Black DO versus Black MD.
Oh, the statistics? Okay, well.
So you probably know the terminology better than I was. I was a little confused.
Okay, well, really, the statistics between, I don't really know the statistics between black DOs and MDs, but really, I mean, the MDs and the DOs, they do the same exact thing.
Right.
They do the same exact thing. The only difference is that DOs have a little extra training in manipulative medicine. Okay, so that's using, you know, a little bit of natural medicine, maybe, you know, pressure points, you know,
that's the
same
DO.
thing that, you know how chiropractors, you know,
Right.
I don't really know. I'm not trained in it, so I wouldn't know. But they have a little bit more training in that. But really, they know the same thing. People think that DOs are less qualified than an MD, but that's just not true. That's not true. They do the same. They do the same exact thing, and sometimes even the DOs might be the better bet for you.
Oh,
you know?
wow.
Yeah.
So these are great questions, and I appreciate you all for tuning in. You know, we got more people tuning in by the minute.
Yeah.
Riz just tuned in. We got my man Uchi Wally just tuned in. We got a couple people tuning in, and I have a DO. So this is from Miss AKA. She said, I have a DO, and I feel that she uses more holistic approaches.
Yeah. Well, you know, when it comes down to it, it's not really the necessarily because she's a DO or because he's an MD while they use the holistic. It all comes down to the physician itself.
So for those who don't understand what holistic means, can you just elaborate on?
Okay, so holistic. When you look at the word holistic, you're talking about I'm using every avenue, and I'm taking all of that into consideration when I'm dealing with your health. Okay, so I'm talking mental health, physical health, everything. You know, the whole view. You know. A lot of times, you know, people would say even, you know, they use that holistic in synonymous with natural medicine kind of thing. But really it comes down to the doctor itself. You understand? You know, one of the things that I have a problem with is this whole, like I was talking about, the beef between Western and Eastern medicine, you know what I'm saying? Or the natural approach, because I just feel that medicine should or health should just be one thing, right? If there's enough research to back, you know, a natural approach, if there's enough research to back a natural approach, it's automatically accepted. You understand what I'm saying? It's automatically accepted. The only things that we don't accept in Western medicine are things that there's just not enough research on.
Right.
And believe it or not, there's a lot of supplements out there that can do more harm to you than you think. You know what I'm saying? So it's really not like I don't like the.
You have a couple examples just so people are warned about.
So there's a you can go to GNC, right?
Right.
And have you ever been to like those vitamin stores and they got?
I've been to GNC before.
And they got them things in the in
like the glass cases.
In the glass cases. Be very wary, bro.
Be wary of the glass cases.
Yeah, be very wary. You know, I mean, you have people who go there and get weight loss supplements too for like GNC and stuff, and abuse it, man. You know what I'm saying? So you got, and every day there's like FDA comes down on different things, man. You know, so it really comes down to the doctor. Like my doctor is an MD, and he's all about holistic medicine and natural medicine, and that's what he's the one who inspired me to go that route. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I want to be the holistic. That's the type of doctor I want to be. You know what I'm saying?
So here's a comment. Yeah. Earlier on in the episode, we got a lot of people that expressed that people are skeptical of doctors because, you know, in the black community we feel doctors are prescribing us to drugs that are hurting our bodies, or it's a agenda to, you know, kill us off and stuff like that. But it seems like what you're talking about, TJ, is as a person, and you knowing your body or wanting to have the knowledge to learn about your body, you have a responsibility to also fill out your doctor, or interview doctors, and see if they have a holistic approach, or if they have a Eastern versus Western medicine approach. You know, whatever approach that you feel is best for you. If you feel as though that holistic medicine might be best for you, and your doctor is always trying to put you on some man-made stuff, then maybe you might want to find a doctor that is more in tune with your values and stuff like that.
I can tell you one thing, man. When I was doing my cardiology rotation, when we got the patients come in who had heart attacks or strokes, and we would look at their chart, right? certain doctors' names was just a health risk. You know what I'm saying? Like if you had a certain doctor's name on the paperwork, that alone was a red flag. We just knew, health risk. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta interview your doctors. You know what I'm saying? Talk to them, fill them out, man. You know? Yeah, man.
That is so okay. Yeah. So we got a new user, new audience in the crowd. The real McCoy. She asked, "What do you have to touch on about how Black people live in an environment where they are proven to develop many diseases such as endocrine disruptors. Endocrine disruptors. My medical terminology isn't there.
Is it?
So, what do you have to touch on about how Black people live in an environment where they have proven to
endocrine
develop...
disruptors.
Okay.
Well, what I also did was, I'm working on I have one more class really to finish my master's in public health.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what inspired me to do the master's in public health was pretty much the question she just asked. You know what I'm saying? Disparities in the Black community. Okay, so I can just a few things. In a lot of poor communities in the inner cities, there's not even any sidewalks. Okay,
mm-hmm.
when there's not even any sidewalks. Okay, and the violence is high. That alone discourages people from doing what?
From going outside and doing dangerous things. Yeah.
From going outside and exercising, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're afraid. Another thing is that a lot of those communities, they don't have parks, right? Another thing is there's something called the I don't know if you've heard this, but the poverty tax. It's a term that they throw around, but
okay.
It's very interesting that in poor communities, groceries in poor communities, to buy healthy foods in poor communities is more expensive.
Oh yeah. I knew that, but I didn't know about the tax that you just was talking about.
Than to buy groceries in healthy groceries in suburban communities. You know what I'm saying?
Dang.
So for a poor family, sometimes it's easier to feed your family off the dollar menu at McDonald's, man, than to get some healthy food. And that's real, man. Mm-hmm. We don't even want to talk about the guns, the gun shops on every corner, the liquor stores on every corner. All these things play into the health of the community. You know what I'm saying? So yes, in low communities, there's a lot of things that causes and then you talk about the pollution, man. You know what I'm saying?
When I was just talking about that. He was talking about like the atrazine in our water, and et cetera.
Yeah, and then also the that's what I was telling you, man. Why they were saying that the studies are saying now that you can almost predict if a child will have asthma just by looking at the environment that he was born in.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So these are major things. And the thing about it, when you go to medical school, when you read the books, they'll tell you, okay, African Americans are at more risk of getting cardiovascular disease, and they leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
So people who are unconscious, who aren't woke, will read that and just think, okay, Black people, heart disease. But what are the socio-economic issues? What are the socio-economic reasons that are causing that? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Yeah.
My man TJ over here spitting fire.
Yeah.
So, we still good on time, and I even set the camera back over there, so we good. And we got some comments, Riz and my little page, basically elaborating off of what you're saying about the pollution, and my little page said, and the factories that are placed in our neighborhoods, all of that, all the stuff is.
I mean, that's what I know. Listen, man, I was born in Patterson, New Jersey, bro, man, and man,
so
I ain't shake this asthma yet.
They said, look, for me, my doctor told me I outgrew it.
That's what
right after 8th grade.
A couple people do.
It's not as bad as it used to be, but every once in a while I might find myself short of breath. I don't know what that might be.
I still take medication right now for my asthma. Yeah,
I don't really take anything.
Yeah,
but so I'm curious. I'm curious to know more about your public speaking side of how you want to better the communities with informing them about what you've learned in the medicine field. So, like, what are some of your well, we know that's your strongest point, obviously, but in what ways do you work to become a better speaker? So, like, what methods do you take to strengthen your public speaking skills?
Man, really, dog. I just I figure out what I'm passionate about, man, and I just read about it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you see how I'm talking to you right now? I'm talking to you like this because you my homie. You feel me? So I can talk to you like this. And I be meeting people, bro, and they be like, dog, I didn't even know you was a doctor, bro. I'd be like, yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? But I know how to turn it off and turn it on when I want to. You feel me?
It's code switching.
Yeah, dog. But I mean, this is me. You know what I'm saying? So, and sometimes, believe it or not, man, some of my white colleagues, they like when I hit them with the "What's up, bro?" They like it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but really, what I do, man, I just read. I try to read up on what I'm studying or what I'm passionate about. You know what I'm saying? And try to know it very well. And then I just speak to people about it, man. So just speak to people about it. That's what I do.
So, what advice? What advice do you have, or what advice can you offer to others that aspire to be public speakers, and even advice that you can offer to others who aspire to go into medicine as well? Because we got some people that I know that are actually interested in going into medicine.
Going into medicine, yeah. Well, right now is a very good time to go into medicine.
Okay.
Because of what I was speaking about, the World Health Organization, the World Health Organization and the the United States government, they are putting into place certain policies to increase the amount of the students accepted into medical schools. They're increasing the amount of medical schools. So there's new medical schools popping up every day.
Okay.
Maybe not every day, you know what I'm saying? But, and then there's so they're making it easier because they realize the problem with the shortage. There's a massive shortage, and then to increase incentives for people to go into primary care, they've been slowly increasing their payment, and they do loan repayment if you work in underserved communities. Yeah, so you gotta just get good grades, man. You gotta focus, get good grades.
And be determined. And you got to make sure it's something that you really want.
Yeah, because people look at me, man, and they be like, "Dog, you smart, bruh." I be like, "Dog, I'm not smart, man." Listen, man, when I went to college, they put me in a remedial math class. And for those of you who don't know what remedial is like when they say, "Listen,
you're not smart enough to go into the college."
They
put me in the same thing. I had to test out of it.
Yeah, they was like, I don't know why they let you leave high school, but it was like something's wrong. Bro, when I bought my book, the book literally said math. You feel me? It just, you know what I'm saying? It said math. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, I wasn't the smartest guy, but what I did was I found something I was passionate about. You feel me? And I was determined, man. I was determined. I had a slow start though. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't even know I was going to go to college. So when I got there, I had a slow start. I decided to go to med school during my after my second year of college. I was like, let me take these classes. You know what I'm saying? So I already had messed up. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, I didn't get accepted into a U.S. school. Right. But I did get accepted to the school in Belize, man.
And it's funny that you say that because it's like when people say that you're so smart, they basically saying you're smart because of we throw the word smart and the word education out there so loosely that we don't really understand education in itself. Like we judge education or the level of how educated you are with how much schooling you've been through, but we don't look at the other vehicles of education there are.
Right.
You have books that you can just read off of free time. You have experience from just living daily life. That's a form of education too, because you can learn so much just from putting yourself in certain situations. Yeah. And so we just look at education as that one thing. And so it's oftentimes people could say you smart, and I know some people that who can have master's students or even doctorate students and still lack the information of XYZ, but they know ABC.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah. That's true, man. That's deep because I mean, one of the things I like to do is I like to read, man. I like to read a lot of different things. One of the stuff I'm really into is investments.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? There's this book I read called The White Coat Investor.
You was telling me about this stuff
The White Coat
last week.
Investor. It talks about how doctors can invest their money and be smart with their money and things like that. And as one of the most important thing for me, man, like is just reading, bro. You know what I'm saying? Reading different things. You don't need a degree.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just read different things and.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
Have you had any paid opportunities with your public speaking so far, or is that on the agenda?
I mean, usually what I do, man, like I say, man, I just talk to kids, man. Like I go to schools. I go to like when I was in Orlando, I used to go to like urban schools, you know, in poor communities, you know, and talk to those kids, man. I used to go to the detention centers, you know what I'm saying, and talk to those kids.
That's important.
Yeah, man. And you'd be surprised, man. Like when I go there, man, and they see me, it's just like, okay, this is another guy. And then when I tell them, yo, I'm a doctor, they confused. They like, he just damned me up. You know what I'm saying? He just called me Wody. You know what I'm saying? He a doctor? You know what I'm saying? What?
You said Wody, right? And you look like my LB niece, right?
Yeah.
Like, he always say Wody. You just brought me back.
Nah, you gotta understand, boy. One of my best friends in college was from New Orleans, man. So I picked up a little slang from him. But when I talk to them, dog, man, they surprised. Then I could talk knowledge into them, man. You know what I'm saying? I could talk knowledge to them. I could build their self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? I could tell them about their ancestors. Tell them about, you know, where they came from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, tell them that they're kings and queens. You feel me?
All that's important. And then at the end of the day, they see that you're a doctor after you just spitting all this realness.
And then they say
now they inspire you to be a doctor.
Yeah, man. You know, and it's not even just about being a doctor, man. Like, you know, I just want to inspire them, man. You know, because I didn't have that. You know, I didn't have that. The thing that saved me, the thing that saved me was my father, man.
Okay.
Was my father. Because you got to understand, man, where I came up, everybody on the block, bro, nobody made it out of there, bro. I was the only one. The only thing is I was the only one who had a father who was in my life. He was in there, man. You know what I'm saying? He was active with me. He worked with me, man. I had a bad anger growing up, but he worked with me. You know what I'm saying? And that's what saved me, man.
That's important.
That's what saved me, bro. And I mean, you know,
it's a lot of guys out there who don't. It's a lot of brothers out there that don't have father figures or a male that can really point them in the right direction. And, you know, get their heads on straight.
That's true too.
It's very. Anyone who could say that, what you just said, is very fortunate.
Yeah, man. I'm just trying to reach him, man. That's all I'm trying to do, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So let's talk about goals and accomplishing goals, because I'm sure, like, to get to where you are right now, you had to have a lot of goals.
Right.
You had to set a lot and have a plan for how you want to tackle those goals. So, like, what are some of the methods that you use for setting goals, and then what are the steps that are necessary to accomplishing those goals?
Well, really, man, like when it comes to like for me personally, I have a whole different kind of idea about how I went about reaching my goals, right? You know, everybody has their own opinions on it. There's other books about it. So I'm just gonna tell you the way TJ did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I went about it real savage. You feel me? I went about it real savage. Bro. Yeah, man. Like I said, I figured out what I wanted to do, and I said, yo, there's no plan B. There's no plan B, man. I said, this plan A. That's it. That's number one. That's number one. I feel, and that's what I tell my kids, man. I tell them, listen, if this is what you want to do, that's it. Don't think about nothing else, man. Because when you think about something else, you're not putting 100% in what you have in front of you. You're thinking about, okay, I got this to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man.
Thai beats.
you.